There's real bad blood here.
Canelo versus Triple G. September 17th, live on DAZN pay-per-view. Visit DAZN.com.
This is Charlie Parsons for Boxing Social. I'm not sure if I've joined by Steve Bunce or Claressa Shields, but Steve Bunce, how are you, mate?
I'm good, which is possibly not what Claressa said when she left this stage 10 minutes ago. Fired up again. Seems that the less Savannah does, the more she seems to upset Claressa, and then Claressa tells you she's not upset me. Seems amazing. Just say, yeah, maybe people need to be a bit more truthful. It was quite ugly today, the whole press conference. It was brilliant, actually.
I was just about to say that. We talk about, for a fight like this, we need a press conference like that. At first, obviously, Claressa spoke with no Savannah interruption, but the minute Savannah speaks, Claressa interrupts. But we need that for a fight like this.
It's really weird because Savannah's not into psychology at all under any circumstances. It's not what she does. Savannah hasn't come up with a strategy. Savannah doesn't have a team of sports psychologists around her. Savannah doesn't have a team of cheerleaders around her suggesting, why don't you do this to upset Claressa? Why don't you do this to upset Claressa? She does nothing, Savannah, except open her mouth and say one or two things. But she knows how to press all of those buttons to get Claressa riled up. But then Claressa denies she's riled up. It'd be really interesting when Cassius Clay, as he was known, fought Sonny Liston for the world title for the first time in Miami. At the weigh-in, Clay was ranting and raving so crazily that one of the doctors who was there examined him and said that with his blood pressure he's going to have a heart attack. He can't fight. Now, of course, that could be a terrific load of rubbish told by Angelo Dundee, but it's a great story that we like. So we go with that story, that Ali was so riled up and excited that he was in danger of dropping dead from a heart attack. Luckily, Angelo Dundee knew how to calm him down, and he got in the ring that night and destroyed Sonny Liston. But it would be really good if we could take Claressa's pulse so she walks up on the stage, and then take her pulse when she exits the stage. I spoke to Claressa. She gave me a lovely line. She said, it's not like me to get angry and upset with people. She said, and I can't wait till after the fight, because after the fight, I'll talk to her. I'll be her friend. You won't see what you've been seeing. But it's the third time or fourth time, if you count the little shenanigans on the boat this year, that these two have come face to face, head to head, and we don't have anything like that in the men's game at the moment. We don't have a Bellew against, fill in the gap. We don't have it at the moment. We don't have a Del Boy against, fill in the gap. These guys had a run in Cardiff. It was A class. They had a run-in Newcastle. It was A class. They had a run-in on the boat. It was good. They had a run-in here today. That's 4 confrontations. We've had nothing like that in the men's game for a million trillion years. Just because Tyson Fury picks up a microphone, comes up with something and says, I'm going to knock out ex-Dosser, that's not the same. When the ex-Dosser comes back with, I'll fight him, knowing that they mean I won't fight him. But with the women's game, it's delivering fights, and what we've seen today and what we've seen this year with these two is it's delivering rivalries. We'd love rivalries like that. Great fighters like Troy Williamson and Echo Esserman, guys that have slipped through all the holes in boxing, because, no disrespects to you, but you guys don't want to interview them because they don't give you enough hits. You guys, all the great British fighters out there, they do nothing. They hardly get any press, and we can't build them. They haven't got great rivalries, and these two women have got this great rivalry, and I think we need to throw a little bit more respect behind what these women are doing, not just for the female boxing business, but for the boxing business. They're giving us gold. They've given us absolutely gold, brother.
Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but moving on, I've got to ask you, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, I feel like I've been speaking about it for 3 years, to the point where when I say it in an interview, I'm like, it is getting a little bit tedious, it's getting a little bit boring, back and forth, will the fight happen? I mean, we've seen today that Joshua's accepted yesterday, we've seen that Joshua has accepted the 60-40 on the December 17th date. Personally, I think fair enough. Tyson Fury has said the last Saturday of November or the first Saturday of December. Frank Warren did say, though, that he had the Principality booked for the 17th.
Yeah, Manny CHARR. We think Manny CHARR that's the name that everyone's been throwing around now for about 6 weeks, 7 weeks. He's been the unhappiest person in the world this last 4 days, Manny CHARR, because he thinks he's not going to get the fight. Manny, if Tyson Fury fights in December, he's going to fight you. It's probably going to be Principality on December the 17th. That's what everyone was thinking about and talking about. And then things went a bit crazy when Fury threw his stuff out. But the whole thing really, Charlie, has been a bit mad. On June the 10th, 2020, over 2 years ago, Tyson Fury said, it's on, it's confirmed. I've just spoken to my special advisor and I'm fighting Anthony Joshua. That was June the 10th, 2020. Last year this fight was made, signed and sealed. We had our flights booked at the BBC to go to Saudi Arabia for August the 8th. This year it's been on and off. This week it's been on and off. Bob Arum told me he doesn't think it's going to happen before Christmas, but he thinks Fury will fight before Christmas, and then he thinks he'll fight Usyk next year, April, May, leading to a blockbuster in September of next year against Anthony Joshua. Wouldn't it be lovely if that was easy? But that was also Bob Arum who told the American press in June that Tyson Fury was fighting Joe Joyce at Wembley Stadium in October. Where'd you go? Where'd you stand? How'd you make a pronouncement? You know what I really love about it is because we all lie in boxing. The moment it's called on or off, everyone can say, I told you so. So the moment it's called on, the moment it's signed, I'll go, I knew it would happen. The moment it's called off, I go, I told you it wouldn't happen. If only we could just tell the truth. If only we could just tell the truth. And I don't know about you, but is there a cut-off point for listening to just the endless ramblings of everybody involved with this fight? I mean, I'm not a big fan of utter secrecy. But I also don't want to go through everything so constantly. It's really, really getting boring.
That's why I said I almost feel a bit tedious asking the question for
Is it going to happen? My gut feeling is it might. This week, they've probably come closer this week through conversations that people have had than they've ever been. But coming closer doesn't mean it's closer. But there been forward discussions now? Yes, there have. But we had the fight made last year, remember? So the answer is, Charlie, I don't know.
Until they're in the ring, we'll never know.
And even then, I want to hit a bell.
And just finally, if he does fight Manuel CHARR, it's had a lot of criticism online, that fight.
It's had a lot of criticism online, yeah? Okay, here's the thing. Look me in the eye, okay? When it's announced, no one's going to say this fight is a joke. You know why? Because you won't get in. You want to say it? Do you think I'm going to go on BT and say this fight shouldn't be happening? Manny CHARR isn't the worst guy to fight for a world title, okay? He's not the worst. Okay, Herbie Hyde fought a guy called Willie Fisher once, okay? A guy called Peter Okello, okay, from Uganda, fought not once, I think twice for the world heavyweight title. Okay, they're worse. Okay, Charles Martin wasn't that good, okay? But let me tell you something. Here today, there's about 150 members of the YouTube boxing family, okay? This is exactly, you see that figure? That's the exact amount of people will say the Manny CHARR fight shouldn't happen. 0. No one will. You know why? Because you get paid for access, you get paid for your hits, and no one wants to go back to covering Echo Esserman. He's a great fighter, doesn't give you a single hit, doesn't make you a penny. That's the bottom line, whether you like it or not. That's the absolute truth. That's why sometimes I get annoyed when people accuse me of not doing this or not doing that. Well, let the other 150 YouTubers say this fight's a disgrace, that fight's a disgrace, this fight's a disgrace, that fight's a disgrace. They never do, because all they want is Tyson Fury to say something like, I'll fight him with one hand. Bosh, 250,000 hits. Do you know when he said last year, I'd rather fight Savannah Marshall than Joe Joyce? That got nearly 1 million hits. What kind of comedy business are we in? Think about it. Okay, Manny CHARR is a perfectly okay heavyweight challenger in the grand scheme of things. He wouldn't even make my top 50 bad challengers, okay? Is it a fight I want to see? Of course it's not. Okay, but you know what? I'll fall in line when I hear all of you guys saying this fight shouldn't happen. You know what, when I started this business, when I was banned by this guy, kicked out of this show, banned by that guy, banned by that, because that's what I used to say. I was an idiot being banned. An idiot being banned. We done yet?
We are. Steve, thank you very much.